Pisces, I'm going to do your monthly reading for March. And I'm just going to do a classic cross reading for you today. Okay, so you in the reading today is going to be the Queen of Swords. So I see that really as you stepping into the internal authority of being able to draw boundaries where you need to, being able to recognize truths inside yourself, and not feeling like they are, necessarily need to be part of everyone else's business. But when they need to be, you make sure that you communicate that. Your crossing energy is going to be the Page of Swords. So crossing wise, that might look like you sometimes speaking a little too quickly, not going through and figuring out what your truth is before blurting it out. So I would say it's kind of like just a little bit of like a regression sort of feeling, where it's like, if you looked back at the situation, something you said, it's like, oh, I feel I know the truth inside of me, but I sort of just shot off and said something really quickly. But you as the queen is pointing to that. You're moving through that. You're moving away from that type of, childlike action, and really moving into the power of being the queen and having that internal authority. Your focus card is going to be the Ten of Wands. So you're bringing something into fruition. You're wrapping up something that you've been working on either for a long time or something that you've been working on with a lot of effort. But with the 10, that means that this month is going to bring the fruition of that. As far as your background or energy you're moving out of, it's the Eight of Wands, which totally makes sense with your Ten of Wands pursuit. So with the Eight of Wands, it was something that you really had the motivation and desire that you were putting out, that you wanted to bring this thing to completion. And that's what your work was working towards. So now you're at the 10. So you've moved through that. As far as what you are subconsciously working on right now, as you focus on that 10 of Wands, your subconscious is in this 7 of Cups energy. So that might feel something like you don't really know what's going to come after this 10 of Wands situation, this thing that you are bringing to a close. Once that's done, what's next? And that might be like just a little bit of a gut feeling of like, oh, I don't want to think about that right now, but you still have this like question chewing in the back of your mind. And sometimes with the 7 of Cups, it's not so much like, oh, what's the thing and that will solve it if I, fill the blank. With 7 of Cups, it's more of like, what kind of motivations do I want to pursue? What kind of, sometimes like values do I want to elevate in my life? And what kind of values are less important to me now? As you move through this situation, do those need to be reevaluated? Do they need to be adjusted at all? That's kind of what your subconscious is chewing on right now. As far as what energy you're moving into, you've got the Devil. So this could mean that maybe in the past you've had situations when you're coming to the end of a project, coming to the end of finishing a job, that you can sometimes fall into old patterns. Sometimes that can be a little bit in like the self-doubt realm of not knowing, imposter syndrome wise, if you really, did you really pull it off, or did it, was it because of these outside circumstances that it actually finished? So with the Devil, it's all about these situations that we participate in keeping ourselves looped into over and over again. So, in order to get out of the loop, you have to be able to look at the loop first. So that would be the situation to watch out for as you move ahead. As far as your attitude toward the situation, it's Queen of Wands. So I love the double queen energy. Really what that points to is that you do really know that you are making this happen for yourself. Not only as far as what you're physically like putting your energy into, but the Queen of Wands knows internally that she is making those things happen for herself. So I would anchor yourself in those two queens, that you have this internal knowledge, this internal knowing of yourself, and that these past habits or questioning, you just got to loop yourself back to remember how it felt during this project, during this pursuit, when you knew what you were doing, you knew that you were making it happen. You can carry that feeling with you outside of the project too. As far as the energy surrounding you of others, it's going to be the King of Wands. So you may have someone that is not only supporting you in this venture, but who's really hand in hand with you. You've got counterparts here. So you may have someone that's really working towards this goal with you. And I wouldn't, take that lightly. That's a really powerful, supportive energy, that you have someone who's, in your corner, but also who is alongside you in this. And that could be, a family member, that could be a coworker, depending on what you're bringing to fruition. It could be a group of people that are really helping you bring this into the world. As far as your hopes and fears, got the Seven of Swords. To me, what that really points to is that maybe in the fear side of things, you're wondering if your methods for doing this are going to be seen as maybe a little too non-traditional, a little too outside of what is normally accepted on how you would finish this kind of project. But I would say with a fear like that, really all that you can do is put away the expectations of what everybody wants you to do and really focus on how that inner knowing of how you want to do this, how you're going to make it happen. Focus on that, and not so much about outside viewing and opinions, because you really do have a strong support, and the sidelines around you are really cheering for you. So I wouldn't worry so much about them questioning your methods. As far as your potential outcome, you've got the Nine of Pentacles, which is a beautiful energy that's definitely showing success and fruition of what you're working on. And not only that, but the abundance of being able to have things stored up for you in the future, really being able to choose, like, how do I want to use the resources that I've gained in doing this. So that's really beautiful. Let's see what the bottom of the deck is. We've got the Hanged Man. So really, I think that as an eventuality if things go as we're working towards. So this Nine of Pentacles energy could really end up changing your whole perspective on understanding not only, you know, what your status is, but also what you're really capable of. Let's get some qualifiers on that final outcome just to see what other options might be coming in. We have the Seeker, the Seven of Fire, and the Five of Fire. Okay. So the Seeker is the Hermit, and then we've got Seven of Wands and Five of Wands. So I really like the Hermit here with the Hanged Man. I feel like that really points to that that possibility of a much further self-understanding through the end of this month and finishing this pursuit. That really points me back to the Devil too, as far as like this could really illuminate for you something that has been part of a past pattern that you can link into how you want to turn that repetition into an elevation, into the next level of what you want to leave behind versus what you want to move into. And then the Seven of Wands and Five of Wands, I think really means that through that knowledge, you're going to be able to continue pursuits like this, continue to move to the next level of what you want to continue pursuing the next time and the next time with this new self-knowledge that you work into. All right,